March 25th, 1911. Saturday afternoon in Greenwich Village. Beautiful spring day, the kind where everyone's out walking. William Shepard, a reporter for United Press, was using the phone in a drugstore near Washington Square Park. He heard something. Thud. Figured it was a bolt of fabric falling off a delivery truck. Then he heard it again. Thud. He looked out the window. A young woman, dead on the sidewalk. He ran outside and looked up. The Ash Building, 9th floor. Smoke pouring out. And on the window ledges, girls, young girls, some holding hands. Their dresses were already on fire. They weren't screaming. They just jumped. Shepard stood there and counted. 1, 2, 3. He got to 62 before he stopped. Later, he wrote, "I learned a new sound that day, a human body hitting stone." They didn't jump because they panicked. They jumped because the exit door behind them was locked. Not broken, not jammed, locked from the outside to keep them from stealing fabric scraps. I'm James Tudor. This is the story of the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory Fire. The day 146 people burned because 2 men wanted to save a few pennies. Blanck and Isaac Harris. The press called them the Shirtwaist Kings. Classic immigrant success story. Came to America with nothing. Built a fashion empire selling those high-collared blouses every woman wore in 1911. Their factory took up the top 3 floors of the Ash Building. It was supposed to be state-of-the-art. Fireproof, the ad said. Inside, 500 workers, mostly teenage girls. Italian and Jewish immigrants, some 14 years old, packed shoulder to shoulder at sewing machines, 52 hours a week for $7. Blanck and Harris were paranoid about theft. They were convinced these girls were stuffing silk scraps into their purses. So they came up with a system. At the end of every shift, all 500 workers had to funnel through one door so a foreman could search their bags. The other stairwell, locked. Key in the foreman's pocket. A sweatshop with only one way out. 4:40 p.m. Almost quitting time. Somewhere on the 8th floor under a cutting table, there's a bin of fabric scraps. Someone dropped a match, maybe a cigarette. We don't know. What we do know, that bin went up like gasoline. The factory floors were covered in fabric scraps and machine oil. Nobody had cleaned in weeks. The fire didn't spread, it exploded. Table to table, faster than you could run. 8th floor workers got out, barely. 10th floor, that's where Blanck and Harris were, smoking cigars with their kids. They ran to the roof and jumped to the next building. Not a scratch. But the 9th floor, nobody warned them. The phone line was dead. Their first clue was the windows shattering from the heat below. 250 girls, suddenly choking on black smoke. 2 ways out. The elevator and the fire escape. Joseph Zito was the elevator operator. While the owners were running to safety, Zito drove straight into the inferno. He went up to the 9th floor, opened the doors. Girls piled in, screaming. He took them down. Then he went back up, again and again. The heat was melting the elevator rails. On his last trip, girls were so desperate they pried the doors open and jumped down the shaft onto the roof of his car. He could hear the bodies hitting above him, one after another. The elevator got so damaged he couldn't make another run. That left the fire escape. A cheap, rusted iron thing bolted to the brick. 50 girls climbed out. They thought they were safe. The metal couldn't hold. The bolts were already corroded. The heat weakened them further. With a screech, the entire structure tore away from the wall. 20 girls fell 9 stories onto concrete. One option left. The Washington Place stairwell. 100 girls pushed toward it. Fire closing in. They grabbed the handle. It didn't move. They pushed, pounded, screamed for the foreman. But he was already gone. And he had the key. A survivor testified that she saw a girl named Margaret shaking the door handle, sobbing, "Open the door. Please, God, open the door." The door didn't open. Blanck and Harris had built it to keep workers in. Now it was keeping them from getting out. Trapped between fire and a locked door, they ran to the windows. That's when the jumping started. The firefighters got there fast. They raised their ladders. The ladders reached the 6th floor. The girls were on the 9th, 30 feet short. The firefighters held out canvas nets and screamed, "Jump, we'll catch you." But the girls jumped in 2s and 3s holding hands. 3 bodies from 80 feet up. It ripped the nets right out of their hands. The canvas tore. Bodies hit pavement. Firefighters stood there crying. The fire lasted 18 minutes. 146 dead. New York wanted blood. Blanck and Harris were charged with manslaughter. The case was simple. The door was locked. If it was locked, they're guilty. But they hired Max Steuer, the best defense attorney money could buy. Steuer couldn't prove the door was unlocked, so he went after the witnesses. A young survivor named Kate Alterman took the stand. She described the fire through tears, called it a curtain of fire. Steuer asked her to tell it again. She did. Same words. He asked her a 3rd time. She repeated, "Curtain of fire" again. Steuer turned to the jury and suggested she'd been coached, that she'd memorized a script instead of remembering the truth. He made the victim look like a liar. Cheap trick. But it worked. Verdict: not guilty. They walked, had to sneak out a side exit to avoid the mob. Here's the kicker. Blanck and Harris had huge insurance policies on the factory. After the fire, they filed claims for lost fabric and equipment. They eventually paid small settlements to some families, about $75 per victim. When you run the numbers, they made a profit, about $400 per dead worker. They didn't just get away with it, they cashed in. The Triangle Fire did change things. Frances Perkins watched those girls jump. She later became Secretary of Labor and pushed through the fire safety laws we have today. Sprinklers, exit signs, doors that open outward, written in blood. But you have to wonder, if that door had been unlocked, how many of those girls would have lived to become grandmothers? Instead, all we have left is the echo of that sound. Thud. I'm James Tudor. This is Empire Archives. Subscribe.